Do you want to give some background on
Yeah,
what we're going to be talking about?
yeah, no problem. So maybe it'll help given the morphing of who I was as a trader. So real quickly, just TLDR of who I am. And so I've been a long time investor for a long time. 2020, I decided to pick up the gambling habit of day trading, and so I started playing penny stocks. And I didn't like how that worked out because I didn't like the liquidity issues, which some have seen, some haven't seen, right? So then I moved into the other next degeneracy option, which was Tesla options. And then I started trading Tesla and SPY and then futures and everything. It all came down to I have a day job. So I can't sit here and click buttons all day. And that's where, fast forwarding really quick to where we are today, trying to find something that can make money without me doing something. And that's where we came up with the trying to automate this whole thing. Um, yeah, real quickly, that's what it is. So, what I wanted to, I guess, talk about today is how I got to the point of at least my theology of the parameters for the algo, as well as what made me comfortable going fully automated without even looking at it day to day. Because I think that's what scares people a lot of times is not seeing it take every trade and being emotionally involved. And I think that's the hardest part.
Yeah.
Um, there's two factors in that I found is one, you're over leveraged if you're emotional, or two, you don't have confidence in what's happening. So that's typically if you can check both those boxes to where you're not over leveraged and you have confidence, you should be fine. And I think that's key.
I would agree with that. Yeah. I like that.
So yeah, the so we started with and full kudos to you for giving me the insight to keep moving forward with it because I like the way the algo worked prior to the rate hike, especially with
Yeah.
the 1 minute chart.
Yeah, that was fun. The
So
20-30 days, the 20-30 trade today was fun, but isn't feasible anymore. Yeah.
no, it wasn't. And see, that's something that my day job. I'm a solutions architect for a software company. I'm not a data engineer, but I have a full grasp of there's a qualified cost of doing business, which are fees and commissions and spreads. And if you don't factor those into an algo profit loss, then you're not doing yourself justice because in the case of the 1 minute trades, um, you're going to eat yourself alive in commissions and fees. And I found that long time ago when I was trading SPY contracts at 15 cents per contract, so $15, but it cost you $6.50 because you're taking 10 of them. I
Hmm.
mean, it just doesn't pan out unless you get the move in your direction.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you definitely have to. You definitely have to think about that too. There's fees. There's short term gains taxes. You have to ensure that that stuff is all profitable for you too. It's not just the number on the screen that you see when people are trading. There's definitely costs that come along with it. Right?
Yeah, so much involved in there, which is kind of like I said, the nuances, the cost of doing business. But at the end of the day, it's my money, so I need to account for every penny where it goes, and does it give me an edge or not? So the one thing I found with thinkorswim is we could only get 30 days. Well, the 1 minute chart, we could only get 30 days at a time. And that was a major problem for me. And I know this is where you and I differ a little bit when it comes to historical price action, determining whether it's a good strategy or not. I'm on more of the boat that I want to see longer time frames.
Right.
So I went on a massive mission that thinkorswim wasn't going to answer the question for me. So I thought, what coding language would do it? And at the end of the day, I chose Python because there's a TDA API Python that has already been written that allows you to integrate with TD Ameritrade with Python. So I figured if I'm going to write a bot in Python, I need to write my backtesting in Python. I have to say, I probably understand software better than I understand my wife. Um, so One of those rare individuals that can do that. But at the same point, so that's what I did, and then I went to Polygon because they had 18 years worth of 1 minute intraday level data. What that told me was I could backtest all the way from 2004 to today and prove that it was profitable during the 2008 recession, the 2013 stagnation, and the 2017, I think, crash, the flash crash of that as well. So Polygon allows you to get 2 years for free. So that was the first step, right? So I tested 2 years for free, and then it cost me like $200 a month to download 18 years worth of data. So that's essentially what I did. And for that month, I downloaded 1 minute level data. I downloaded 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 1 hour. I just downloaded data. So I have about like 6 gigs worth of intra level data for, I think, SPY. Interesting, QQQ changed its symbol halfway through the years. But then DIA and then Apple and Microsoft.
So
Because I wanted
you paid the $200 for a month, and then they just let you download it. So now you just have
unlimited.
access to that data all the time.
Absolutely, yeah, and it's API data, so I could, you could have just ran the API, downloaded the data as part of the call, and then ran the data for each test. But what I did is I downloaded and stored it into a JSON file, so that way I had access to it after the month was over. So yeah, that was the idea, and then the next part of it was, and this is where the fun begins, as far as backtesting strategies. Is if you remember your original strategy was I'm going to look back X number of candles to open to close, and I may or may not use an EMA to determine if it's above a trend or below a trend, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty simplistic conditions. So what I did was I built arrays of, let's say, 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute, 4 minute, all the way up to 10 minutes on each one of those conditions, which led out to be like 35,000 permutations of test results, and just let it run. And it took about 6-7 hours, but I got 35,000 different strategy results in a couple hours that I could view in the report.
Wow.
And based on that, I picked the best parameters.
So what you're saying is you set. So I was looking like buy the high of 8 bars back, sell the low of 4 bars back, whatever, and you just put in um like 1 through 10, say, on each of those variables, and then you ran them all to see which one worked the best over all the data on SPY and Qs and NASDAQ and stuff.
Absolutely, yeah. And so it is time consuming, obviously, but it essentially, if you write it in the right fashion with functions, it's just for loops, and they just log it into a CSV file of results, and you just go through the results, and you find out which one had the best win percentage, what was how many days won. I mean, yes, you have to code all this in. It is manual, but if once you build the backtester, essentially, it's you could do almost anything you want, to as far as setting the conditions of entry and exit, and then it just builds the reports. So, and that's what led me into really quickly that day when the rates dropped. I don't remember if I told you in chat. Instantly, I could tell you that we would lose money on the 1 minute chart. I mean, you can kind of see it, you know it, but through analytical proof, I was able to see that, and that's where I started.
Just to quickly clarify, he's talking about when every trade you take, you have to pay SEC FINRA fees. And we were trading 100 shares of SPY, and it used to be about, I think it was like 30 cents a trade or something, like 40 cents a trade. But they upped that, and it ended up starting to cost like 95, 96 cents a trade, because they do update those fees every single year. And this year for 2022, they upped it a lot. And I was taking 20 to 30 trades a day on this 1 minute strategy, the one I pulled up earlier. So that started eating into those profits, into those per share, per trade wins, I guess I should say, too much.
Absolutely, yeah, and I got really upset over it because I'm like, great, I found something that works, and now, of course, somebody wants to poke a little prick in my little balloon here and blow it all up. The other thing as part of the back testing again for 18 years is I factored in today's rates all the way back to 2004. So though it was cheaper to for fees back then, there was also commissions and other things. But long story short, what I tried a lot of things. I took what was the best over 18 years. I tried to look at just the '07 to '09 years. I looked at just a certain period, 19 to 2022. And then I try to do, okay, what if every month I took the prior month's best strategy and ran with it the next month concept, kind of like what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And in my test results, all I can say is I found that not to be more profitable. I
Really?
found it actually more profitable to take the mean over 18 years, what worked the best overall, and just use that. And I did it with non-compounding results, and then I did it with compounding results. But the concept is when I say non-compound results, the idea is what if I put 100 and I used 100,000 as my baseline, right? Just because big fat number. What if I put $100,000 in SPY in 2004 and held it till today? And then what if I took 100,000 in every single trade, no matter how many shares it was? Just say 100 grand, right? And what I was able to do with just that, I found I could beat SPY without compounding, which was astronomical to me. The fact that that's even capable.
You beat it without compounding, meaning you didn't take the profit from one trade and full portfolio into the next trade. You're always just taking the same share size.
Absolutely. From 2004 till today, every trade was entry of 100 grand. Yeah. So the idea is you can see that we took about 28,000 trades in that time period. SPY would have profited about $268,000 on that 100 grand. Now, when I say profit, that means that's pure profit. The 100 grand is still in there. But the idea is the bot itself would have made 170, I'm sorry, not 172, 1.72 million on that 100 grand if you compounded. Now I was also somewhat smart enough to say, look, there's liquidity issues if you get past a certain point. So I wasn't allowed to, as far as the bot is concerned, take more than 600 grand in a single trade.
Oh, this one is with compounding, right? Okay.
Yeah, that one is with compounding, and so you can see what I like to see. You can see SPY gain and gain on the like I think fourth or fifth in line.
Mm-hmm.
That is the dollar per share gain. So in 2004, SPY was 112.05. At the end of May, SPY was 412. So it gained $300 naturally, part of SPY. But the bot would have made $801 per gain based off the intraday moves and all that stuff.
That's pretty damn good.
It's insane, right? It's one of those things I just can't I can't fathom the results because they're out of the world. Now, if you take compounding out, which I'm about to send you that message, it's still as crazy as that.
Oh God.
Okay, so yeah, you can see again, 28,348 trades, but without compounding. The gain was still $801, but the profit was 389 grand versus 268 grand. And I was pulling my hair out trying to find conditions because I didn't wrap my head around that when I was testing. This took me the longest time. It took me about a month to try to get to this point, and I had help from another individual that was helping me backtest. But we couldn't beat the SPY profit no matter what we did on the non-compounding until I realized in my head that, hey, look, SPY has been compounding this whole time. The number of shares I took in 2004 kept compounding themselves.
Yeah.
So I was trying to run uphill backwards and I didn't realize it. That's a really weird analogy, but that's kind of how I feel. But you could see, the results are there. And like I said, what I found is over 18 years worth of data found to be better than constantly changing the strategy, and that's again my test results. I am not a financial advisor. This is for education and entertainment purposes only.
Look at you go. You got the lines
Um,
down, yeah.
absolutely right. So this is me having fun playing my video game of the stock market, of trying to find an edge. And so the next stop is, okay, great. Now you have a strategy. Now you have a plan. What do? You have to build a bot.
Yeah, let me answer a question in chat real quick. If you have a bot trading for you, you're really learning trading. I don't you don't we're not trading to learn how to trade. We're trading to make money, right? And the whole point of what he's talking about is that, your next point was, where do you know where to buy and sell? Well, he knows because he has, like I do, right? I utilize code to backtest my strategy. He's utilized code. He has a lot more data than I have, but now he knows over time that this strategy works. This is what he's talking about, and what I try to preach is what you have to do, right? You have to prove a strategy works over time and then stick to those well-defined rules. Now, you don't have to use code. I know all of this is crazy, but code sure as shit helps. Could you imagine how long it would take you to test the amount of data that he's tested? When did you say you ran it from like 2004?
2004 to May of 2020, and keep in mind,
That would
guys,
take you 6-7 months to do without code. Like,
I was going to say one test, which imagine how long it would take to compile that data in thinkorswim or whatever. But then one test could take you in an Excel file a really long time, right? I did 35,000 test report in 8 hours. Um, I probably over 1 million different permutations to find where I'm at today. And all it is looping through variables. It's not like I created this massive rocket science program. It is actually pretty stupid and simple. It's just repeat, rinse, and repeat, rinse, and
yeah, and
repeat.
I'll
Just
do that,
once.
and I'll talk through that too. Like, if I want to go, like, I buy the highest point of the last 5 bars. If I want to go, well, what if I want to try, what if I want to try 4 bars instead? You just change something in code like this, bam, I have now ran a whole nother test. And that's what he's talking about, but obviously he ran them all at the same time. He's doing much smarter shit than I'm doing. But, that's what we're talking about, how you don't have to then, oh, I changed a variable. Let me now manually go back through and retest and make sure this variable works. This is why, like, code helps prove strategy so much. It's so much easier, right?
Right. So it ultimately, yeah, that's where I ended up, and so I went full, because I had to wait for. I did this and again, I'm not a tax advisor, so talk to your CPA about this kind of stuff, especially when you do frequency trading of this nature. But I had to wait for my LLC to complete because I'm doing this underneath an LLC, and I'm doing it specifically that way for wash sale rules because I will never qualify as a tax trader status to the IRS no matter what because of my day job. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts. So I created an LLC
So
for
if you
that.
have an LLC, how hard was that getting an LLC
Um,
for your trading account, I guess?
it's not hard at all, honestly. So getting an LLC is just you go apply for LLC and you tell them you want to be an investment type LLC, and I had my CPA do it, but ultimately it's not hard to do that portion of it. Once you have the LLC, you have to get a bank account. That's where you actually might find more challenge because the big boys don't like to open accounts for other financial traders or LLCs because you may be in the same assets as them, and so there's a conflict of interest.
Mm-hmm.
So funny, I'm going to say Big Bank A instantly rejected my application.
That's
Big
funny.
Bank 2, I went into the office and talked to him, and he had to spend 15 minutes going through certain questions, asking me, "Are you doing this? Are you doing this? Are you doing that?" And based off my answers, he either approved me or denied me. Um, so that was probably the hardest part. And then after that, the TD Ameritrade side of it, they're easy. You just create a LLC account, like a margin account, but a new one that's under LLC, and then you can ACAT transfer all your stuff into that LLC as far as the funding program, right? So that's what I did, and I took this even a step further. Is I'm not trading any cash on my account. I am trading on my day trading buying power of long-term holds that I already have. So when I say I'm really leveraging for income, that's exactly what I'm doing.
Sorry, I don't know if I understood that part. Can you
Okay,
repeat
so
it like a 5-year-old,
yeah,
please?
yeah, yeah, no. So the idea is most people when they trade, they're trading on the cash they have in the account. So let's say you have 30 grand in the account.
Hmm.
You have about 120 grand of buying power based on that 30 grand cash because it's a 4-to-1 leverage
Right.
typically. Now that's day trading buying power. That's not overnight margin, but
Hmm.
so because this strategy never holds overnight, that's another thing is I made sure that the bot closes at a certain time every day to make sure that everything's done. But um, so I don't have that much cash in my account. What I've done is I've moved a lot of my long term holdings over to give myself the leverage to trade with.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of people are like, well, why don't you just buy and hold SPY? You know, that's always the argument of don't spend your time doing stuff. If you can't beat SPY, it's not worth your time unless it's for learning and education. I always get that argument. But here's where I'm doing both. I am leveraging my long-term stuff and I'm doing this day trading um, strategy through a bot, but on money I don't have. It's like taking, in full disclosure here, for whatever reason, I'm taking about 260, 270 share size. So it's about 100 grand worth of SPY every trade. And I do have live results and I can show those through my journaling software that I have. But what was I going to say? Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
about 100 grand per trade, but I'm not using cash to make those trades. I'm using leverage, which means at the end of the day, I'm double dipping.
Yeah. So you have $25,000 worth of SPY or whatever your long-term investments are. You're
Right.
you're invested too. And I always tell people, you've probably heard me preach this, maybe you haven't, but yes, we're all gonna buy Lamborghinis from day trading, yes, but for the love of God, please also invest. Like investing is still very important. So you're doing that. Like you're investing your $30,000 cash, and then you have $120,000 of buying power because TD Ameritrade does give
Mhm.
base leverage for day trading buying power at 4x. So you're using that to trade while investing.
Right, and you can get even crazier if for some reason you have a large enough account and you can get portfolio margining, you could get 6-to-1. And in it and honestly, there is not even 6-to-1. There is no day trading buying limit. Because I had another account that had portfolio margin. I hated it because I didn't know how much I could trade per day. And through every chat, they're like, we can't tell you because there is no limit. There's an overnight limit, but day trading wise, you could trade $1 million and they don't care. So here, I put it in chat. These are my live results for July and every trade that I did take and how much I made on that. Again, reminder here is I didn't lift a finger. These are all bot trades.
That's
So I
sick.
made about 3,400 at the end of the month, and we can consider that passive income at this point, right? Because I'm not doing anything. Well, we could argue I am, but
Oh, I'm dumb. This says I thought this said like I never mind. I thought this was like $35,000. I don't know why. Um, no, this is awesome, and this is all from your automation.
yeah,
And
these
and
are
I know,
100%.
and I people are going to be asking. You don't want to dox your strategy too much. You're not trying to give the strategy away today. Um, but what are you? Is it a 5-minute chart? Can you?
It is 5 minute, yeah.
Okay.
So like I said, I am going to reference not by name, but there is another individual that I have worked in conjunction with that's done a lot of work with me. I've essentially done all the coding lately, and they have helped with some of the back testing, finding different parameters and things to fine tune the strategy. Um, but the idea is, yeah, every one of these trades were an algo trade in and out, and some were good, some were bad. As per the algo, I think the largest loser was like 700-800 bucks, which goodness that hurts. But at the same point, I had 1 week where I lost a grand, and then 1 week I made $3,600. So
Yeah, and
it,
that it makes money over time. right? That's you now
Right.
have
Yeah,
the
you can
back
see
test
that
the
dip.
data that it makes money over time, and you also like I try to hammer this home too, but like I assume when you pulled, I actually didn't look close enough. When you pulled your data from your back test, you know what the max drawdown is since '04. So like you know what you can kind of expect to lose if if you do go through a rough patch.
Oh, absolutely, and it has to do with compounding too. So what I'm not trying to, because the other hard part here is because I have long-term holds in the portfolio, my day trading buying power is really fluctuating, because it also is affected by the close of those long-term trades each day. So I've just set myself a flat limit in the bot that says I can trade this much per share right now, and so each week I reassess what my balance is and I add a new limit for each. So I'm compounding weekly, not daily or per trade.
Okay.
That may change in the future, but the idea is, and for everybody in chat, look, this is a business. This is money. Let's be real. I can't give away the strategy. I'm not going to do that. But what I can do is and help out with Trey if you want. Possibly we can talk on the side of the framework of the bot that connects to TD Ameritrade and then everything up until the order condition. So how to loop through 5 minutes, things that basically the coding language. We can talk about that on the side, but and then whatever Trey wants to do with it. Um, look, end of the day, look, guys, I'm not trying to sell this. I'm not trying to make money on a bot code because I don't want to be responsible for it. But y'all want more information, stuff like that, reach out to me. That's fine.
Yeah, so that we could start to, because I'm doing nowhere near the level
Doing the
you
same
did, of
thing I'm
course, but
doing.
yeah, I'm doing the same stuff using code to prove that a system works.
You're
But
just
I
doing
don't
different
have
variables.
right. We don't have the same exact strategy, but um, you know, I could get help with the sort of framework that you have so that I can run it back to 2004. I have access to the data like that. I can run the permutations of the code so that I know which variables work best. That sounds like the coolest part to me because I
Yeah,
still
there's two different factors, right? The backtester and then the live bot.
yes, yeah. Well, that obviously that is probably the coolest part. The then being able to once you figure out what the back test looks like, then getting it to trade automatically. Yeah, of course, because I'm the same way. Like I have a day job too. I just had a son. I haven't traded a lot in July because I had a
I
son, so I'm not on the computer much.
dude, mine just turned 11 last month, or no, 2 months ago, and trust me, I understand the early days. And then that's the other thing is once you get to a comfort level of allowing this to trade for you, and even more so, like I can still day trade and do my fun stuff. Because a lot of people I've heard, once if you switch to an automated API, like in your case, what are you going to do all day? Right? A lot of yours is watching SPY. You could still do it. You're just not allowed to trade SPY in the same account because that becomes a no stock for you. But you could do SPY options, or you could do NASDAQ, or Dow Jones, whatever. You can move to other indexes, Tesla, short floats, whatever. It doesn't mean you can't trade because you're not trying to use all your buying power ultimately, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what it comes down to.
I
But
do like your idea too of I should do that. Just put my cash into SPY and then trade with the leverage that I use because I'm not
you
using
wouldn't
all
be
my
able to do
leverage.
that. See, that is the one thing, is you wouldn't be able to
Oh,
put
I
it
want to
into
be in
SPY.
SPY. I could put it in like VOO, like another S&P
Yeah.
tracking
You could
ETF.
do. I mean, I've got mine in non-index funds. I've got it in actual stock. So for me, I never cross paths on it. But um, and you can, okay, for disclosure too, you can do this in an IRA account. Um, and
Mm-hmm.
and even if you have a Roth IRA, even better because wash sales don't
Wow,
count
then you
in
can
Roth
do this
IRAs.
and not have to worry about short-term gains taxes and wash sales.
Absolutely, right?
Let me answer another question. Bot trading is profitable. How often do you see stock traders are successful from bot trading? Every bank is trading bots. Every big institution is using bots to trade. Now they probably have floor traders too, but
Nobody talks about the algos or the bots.
right.
It's not a
This
glory.
is the stock market. I mean, bots automation code. This is the stock market. What like trying to like use technical analysis and lines and bullshit is like whatever. That's fine. But like what we're talking about is the market, is how professional traders trade. Like
Absolutely. And the idea is, but nobody writes home about it. And although this strategy has produced, um, let's just say, interesting numbers, the idea of us as traders expecting more than a 3% per gain per year is, I hate to say this on stream, a bit asinine. Because if you follow the stock market long enough, you you don't see hedge funds make more than 5% per year. You know,
right.
the only one that really stands out is Warren Buffett. And it's because he's a buy and holder in the biggest bull markets that there's ever been.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah,
but
the professional traders have a very small edge over the market that they exploit with a shitload of money, right? It's not like you're not catching what was the stock yesterday? HKD. Like this is not you're
there's
never gonna take
nobody
a
big
trade
in
like
that.
this. Like yeah.
It circles back into what makes you comfortable is over leverage. Make sure you don't do that, and then confidence in what you're doing. And so that's why I'm able to just let it go. Because I have the confidence over 18 years. It may pull back and I may be wrong, but you know what? Buying SPY, you could just be wrong doing that too. So,
Yeah, there's never a guarantee, right?
nope.
You have to take this you have to take the statistical advantages from the past and utilize them, but there's never a guarantee, but that's all you can do. So that's what you do. All
All
right,
right,
man.
chat.
I appreciate it very
Have a
much.
good day trading.
Yes, sir. You too.